Hey, thanks you all for watching these videos. It's really good to have you here with me as I go through different topics. So just thank you so much. Well, today I'd like to talk to you about investment. We invest in things that are important to us. Our house, we invest a tremendous amount of energy and income into our living situation. We invest into people around us. If you have kids, you've invested in your kids enormously over the years, I'm sure. Some of you are gardeners, and some of you go out in the yard and invest time and energy into that. My birthday was just this last weekend, and my wife Paula and my kids were all here, and they invested into me, and I felt loved, and I felt appreciated, and very much they invested into me. So we invest into things that are important to us. So I want us to think about two things this morning. First of all, how much has God invested into us? Just think about it. How much has God invested into us? The Bible tells us that we are at the center of his thoughts. In fact, the prophet Isaiah tells us that just as a mother could never forget a child, God could never forget us. In fact, the prophet Isaiah says, even if a mother could forget a child, God will never, ever, ever forget us because we are always at the center of his thoughts. A friend of mine says this, I love this saying. She says this, I love God and he's crazy about me. I love that. I love God and I know that he's crazy about me. See, God has invested into us. In fact, he's given his life for us in Jesus Christ. And so how much more of an investment can you have into people than to give your own life? And God invests in us. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want us to think about is, are we investing into God? And one very practical way of doing this is simply for us to have regular times during the day when we think about God, when he's on our radar, when we are communicating with him. The ancient church has done this from the very earliest of times through what they call praying of the hours. And that was specific times during the day when they would take a time to focus on God and to pray through the Psalms or to pray out different prayers to the Lord. And they would have morning and afternoon and evening prayers that they would do this. Paula and I often will have our own hours of prayer. And the way we do that is in the morning. Before we go, we wake up early and we have a time where we invest into God and we listen to him and we have a relationship with God. But then also in the evening, we will pray together as we are going to bed. So praying the hours is something that you can do. It's a very practical way of investing into God. But another practical way of investing into him is to simply to remember that all that we have truly, really belongs to him. In fact, the Bible is very clear that life, even life itself, is a gift that God has given us to use wisely because it's not ours. It belongs to him. In the Bible, that's called being a steward. We are stewards of what God has given to us. And the way the ancient church remembered this was when they would bring offerings to God, a portion of that offering would be burnt up. It would be dedicated, if you will, to God. But then the rest of it was to be used in celebration, in the community of faith, and to be enjoyed. And the way they did that was called a memorial offering, because as they brought that offering, they were giving a portion of it to God, dedicating it to God. They were remembering that all that they have belongs to God, and that he has given it to us as simply a way for us to have life and to enjoy life, but truly it is from him. And so it was worship, it was praise, it was investing back into God. And so we can remember that as we go through this day, as we go through your day, that God has invested into you and God asks you to invest into him. And so today, just like my friend said, may we remember that I love God and I know that he's crazy about me. Have a wonderful week.